Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing dumper triggers at Christmas. I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details. www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing dumper triggers at Christmas. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you will naturally wonder if certain things can trigger your ex to think of you. In today's podcast, I'm going to be discussing 3 triggers which may cause your ex to think of you at Christmas. So let's get straight into this, and number 1 is Christmas dinner. So the vast majority of you who celebrate Christmas will experience a Christmas dinner, a Christmas meal on Christmas Day. It's one of the most important parts of Christmas for many, many people. And this is because eating is a social bonding experience. And when we consider Christmas dinner, we do think of family, friends, and loved ones. So, if you and your ex were together last Christmas or previous Christmases gone by, it is safe to assume that you and your ex would have shared Christmas dinner together during these events. And that is why, if and when your ex has Christmas dinner this year, that they will naturally be thinking of you because you were there the previous time they had Christmas dinner. When we consider things during Christmas, we have to remember that these things are unlikely to be taking place week in, week out. They are often things which only happen once a year. And although you will be eating dinner, of course, every single day, Christmas dinner is special. It's just different in every way you look at it, whether it is the meal itself, whether it is the festivities around it, whether you pull Christmas crackers whilst you sit next to somebody. Everything makes it a little bit different, and hence it's very special, and hence when we go through Christmas dinner, we naturally think back to previous Christmas dinners. And if you and your ex were together last Christmas, or even beyond that, maybe you and your ex were together many, many years, it's safe to assume this will be something which would act as a trigger, as they will naturally be thinking, what was I doing last Christmas? Who was I sitting next to last Christmas dinner? Who was I sitting opposite from last Christmas dinner? This is when they will think of you, the dumpee. So if you're a dumpee and you're thinking, will my ex even bother thinking of me at Christmas? Well, look, if your ex is going to have Christmas dinner with family and friends this Christmas, they are very likely to think back to previous Christmas dinners. And of course, you would have been a part of it. So therefore, and hence you can see that your ex will think of you during the Christmas dinner moments. Now, Christmas dinner is often a fairly drawn-out affair. It's often longer than other dinners you will be eating day in and day out. It's not something which is usual, as I just said. This is something which happens in this incarnation only once a year. And hence, think about the amount of time that your ex, the dumper, is likely to think of you, the dumpee, during this Christmas dinner moment. It's not just a singular moment, it's many different moments throughout possibly 1, 2, 3 hours. It depends, of course, how you, your family and your friends have Christmas dinner. But often, people will accompany this by watching something on TV, playing party games. All of those types of things are included during Christmas dinner, and this is when and how your dumper may think of their dumpee during the Christmas meal. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about dumper triggers at Christmas. And point number 2 is Christmas songs or movies. So during the Christmas period, Christmas songs are heard often throughout December, and especially on Christmas Day. In particular, things such as hymns you might be seeing on the television on Christmas Day. You might even go to church and experience them in person. Additionally, Christmas movies, again, throughout December, especially on Christmas Day, people will be watching them. And similar to what I was describing in point number 1 about Christmas dinners, only being that kind of way once a year, as we can see, Christmas songs, Christmas movies, these aren't songs or movies that you're going to bump into during the summer. You know, you're only going to see them within December. You're only going to listen to them during a short period of time. And hence, if you and your ex were together last December, last Christmas time, this is something which can again act as a trigger. Some people even share a song at Christmas time which they refer to as their song. So this is something even more special. If you hear a certain song, this can really remind you of your ex. Christmas movies as well. You might be thinking, well, when was the last time I saw this film? Well, of course, it would have been roughly a year ago during December, no doubt. And was you with your ex? Quite possibly. If you see something or hear something which reminds you of your ex, this is likely to be the case for them as well. So when we are considering Christmas triggers, when we think of a whole Christmas period throughout December, in particular on Christmas Day itself, we know that Christmas songs, including hymns, Christmas movies, Christmas films, Christmas TV programming, are all things which you are unlikely to experience throughout the year, and instead will only see and hear during this condensed period of time, which will naturally make somebody reflect on the last time they saw or heard this media, and this would likely have been with their ex. So if a dumper sees this, if a dumper hears this, they will naturally be thinking of their dumpee, just as the dumpee will, if and when they hear or see these things, they will be thinking of their dumper. So if you feel it, they will likely feel it as well. So, if you are wondering about the next Christmas trigger for a dumper to think of their dumpee, then just imagine the next time they hear a song, whether it is a pop song, whether it is a hymn, whether they see a movie, whether they see some programming which is only during December, this is when they will think back to when they was last in this position, and they would naturally and likely have been with their dumpee. So if you're a dumpee and you think my ex is never going to think of me at Christmas, well listen, the next time they hear something which is at all Christmassy, they will likely think of you. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about dumper triggers at Christmas. And point number 3 is Christmas party and or games. So when we think of Christmas time, lots of people have Christmas parties. Even if you don't have a huge Christmas party, you might play a Christmas game with somebody that you live with. This is the type of thing that people do and they celebrate. As I said, some smaller games might even be done at the Christmas dinner table, but larger games can be done throughout the day, throughout the Christmas period. Christmas parties being thrown for friends, for family, for loved ones. Once again, these only happen during Christmas time. Even if you have a summer party, it's not going to be exactly the same as a Christmas party. I do apologise for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere who are thinking, well, Christmas is in summer for us. Unfortunately, I have to speak to the majority, and the vast majority of people I speak to are in the Northern Hemisphere, and hence we experience Christmas time associated with winter. But you know what I'm saying, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then you will no doubt have other exceptions from what you can understand, that Christmas parties are just a little bit different to other times of year. We have to understand that when we think back to previous times where we experienced these things, where we've celebrated in this way, where we have danced to these songs, watched these films and played these games, we will think back to who we was with during this short period of time that they took place. And if you was in a relationship 1 year ago, then this would likely have been your dumpee. Your dumpee would have been with you. If you are a dumper now and you reflect and you think, who was I with last Christmas? You would likely have been with your ex. And this will, of course, put your dumpee in your mind. Now, does this mean a dumper will reach out to their dumpee on Christmas Day? Unfortunately, nothing can be guaranteed, even though we can pretty much say for certain that a dumpee will enter a dumper's mind. The dumper will only reach out to their dumpee if they are feeling enough romantic emotional attraction at this moment. Romantic emotional attraction can grow in many ways, one of which is by implementing my version of the no contact rule. So if a dumpee wants to try to get their ex back, although there is no guarantees, there is no certain way of achieving this goal, what we can do is increase your chance of success by implementing my version of a no contact rule, growing romantic emotional attraction in your dumper's mind, and if and when they hit the necessary high point and then reflect on their past, be thinking of you due to triggers, this is when they will be more likely to reach out. Could it be Christmas? Yes. Is it likely to be Christmas? Probably not. There are many days on the calendar. Christmas Day is not the only day. And just because a dumper may think of their dumpee, they need the necessary amount of attraction and intrigue in their mind before they will reach out. So, can this be a time where dumpers reach out? Absolutely. Plenty of triggers, plenty of memories, plenty of opportunity. But the attraction needs to be in place as well. So if you're a dumpee and you want to try to get your ex back, don't get hung up if you don't hear from your ex at Christmas time, because who knows, you might hear from them on a random Thursday in February. It can happen on any day of the year, and unfortunately, for some people, it won't happen. We have to be honest, we have to be genuine. There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back, but if you do everything right, then you will either get your ex back or you will find somebody even better. Because by living a positive life, improving every single day, you will grow your attraction net and be able to attract somebody even better. So it's win-win. You can either get your ex back or find somebody even better, as long as you live your life in the right way, if you improve every day, and if you become a version 2.0 of yourself. Don't be worried, don't be frightened, don't be scared about not hearing from your ex at Christmas, because who knows, you might hear from them in a month, 2 months, 3 months, and even if you don't hear from them, there is always the possibility that you will find somebody even better and you will live a happy, fulfilled, exciting life with or without your ex. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.